Board for letting me go first. I do have a DME exam in this exact same room tomorrow at 1 p.m. that I need a cramp for, so I appreciate it. Hi all, for those who don't know me, my name is Joshua Peter. I'm a rising senior and aspiring Renaissance man running to become your VPO. A Renaissance man aspires to excel in all aspects of his life and develop themselves to the fullest degree. And this is partly why I chose MECI, the engineering discipline with the broadest applications. I'm blessed to be going on 2 years of interning with my company, SEL, where I design foundations and seals and boards for electrical substations. Prior to my internship, I worked 4 years in specialty coffee, 2 of which were in a managerial capacity, which instilled in me an attention to detail that I intend on carrying into my tenure as VPO. Between our over 800 members and 10 committees, managing operations is a delicate balancing act. A VPO is tasked with building robust channels of communication between officers and members, overseeing marketing, mentorship, our websites, and handling the logistics of our GBMs. My proven academic track record and work experience have helped me develop both my interpersonal skills and an attention to detail that I believe will serve me well as VPO. As a commuter, the prospect of joining an organization seemed impractical. For those who commute more than 30 minutes, I know you understand the struggle of willing yourself to study after getting back home from a long day of class, much less being involved in an org and attending meetings and staying active. I've been working part-time while attending school since I was 16, and assuming more responsibility seemed crazy to me. But last September, I was introduced by a mutual friend to the illustrious John Paul, who's not here with us today, my now friend and our exceptional community service chair, and I couldn't say no to joining ASME, the very first and only Oregon campus that I've joined to date. I've met few individuals more selfless and caring and dedicated than John Paul, and it was his passion that inspired me to help make a difference in our community. And after a chapter's reorganization of duties, JP practically rebuilt the Community Service Committee ground up with little guidance. And I was thrilled to be able to show up for him. We're a really small, close-knit group, and we take much pride in the work we do. And on the screen, you can see our Friendsgiving potluck from last November, and some of us riding in a pickup truck for a volunteering event we did out at the Armand Bayou Nature Center out in Pasadena. To him, Vincent, Maria, and Astrid, my fellow community service committee chairs, community service assistants, I thank you for your fellowship and friendship, and also for getting me the sick name tag. Later last semester, I met our mentorship chair, Israel, and I signed up to join the mentorship committee as a mentor, and this man hyped me up more than he had any business doing. And at our mentorship kickoff, I got the sick buy one mentee, get one free deal, and this is how I met my underclassmen friends, John and Juan, one of which who's in the room with us today. And this semester, I additionally took on another freshman mentee, Evan, who's also with us today. And as most of you know or are finding out, MECI is not an easy major. If we just wanted money out of our careers, Bauer would have been the smart choice. To be an engineering major is to be willing to work hard and not sacrifice quality for convenience. It's to be unafraid of being a little nerdy, driven, and excited about STEM. And I was thrilled to meet 3 individuals, my 3 mentees, as nerdy, driven, and excited about STEM as I am. Mentorship has been one of the most rewarding experiences of my college career, and I'm honored to be responsible for the academic and professional development of my 3 mentees. I've been with ASME for much less time than most people in this room. Nearing the end of my 4 years as a Coug, I can honestly tell you I'm not running for my resume, but because it's a chance to give back to an org that has given me so much in such a short span of time. I chose to run for VPO because, as my friends can attest, I am type A to a fault. I schedule hangouts into my Google Calendar, I rewrite notes until perfection, and I'm a professional overthinker. Having previously served as project manager for my DMT group, God bless anybody who's taking my time right now, I like the idea of acting as ASME's quote-unquote project manager, of coordinating across different committees and ensuring the smooth execution of events. If elected, I intend on working closely with my fellow officers to bring you better, bigger event programming and coordinating with our mentorship chairs to improve the resources we offer our undergraduate members. One such resource I envision is a living, breathing drive of study guides, textbooks, notes, and past exams from all classes a MECI at UH could expect to take. Our lovely communications director, Evelyn, has already started this initiative, and I hope to expand, maintain, and improve accessibility for all ASME members to this drive, especially for our youngest and most impressionable demographic, our underclassmen. On a separate, more serious note, a 2024 ASME Workforce blog post cites a study that found that as many as 66% of engineering students surveyed had symptoms of at least one mental health condition, yet only 24% were officially diagnosed. Our discipline tends to fetishize a culture of stress. We think we have to suffer because that's just the way it has to be. I viscerally felt your imposter syndrome, your anxiety, your financial pressure. We are faced with a mental health epidemic, and it is our duty to uplift and encourage one another in an industry rife with competition. It took me 3 years at UH to find my people, other Mechis who are in this room with us today, who are in my shoes, in my corner, and willing to support me no matter what, no matter how hard things got. And I want ASME to be that for you. I want us to be your community. And to that end, I intend on working with our officers to bring you more frequent socials and events that champion mindfulness, well-being, camaraderie, and most importantly, fun. Because to work hard without burning out, we have to be willing to play hard. So I ask you kindly to consider me for VP Operations of ASME for the 2026-2027 school year. And maybe, just maybe, I'll hold a candle to Jimmy's example. Thank you for your time.
All right, great speech.
Thank you.
As the vice president, you'll be overseeing and making a lot of decisions. So I guess one of my questions would be, what measurable goals would you set for yourself in this role, and how would you report this progress to the rest of the team?
I think probably the most obvious metric would be successful events. We have a master event calendar, and I know there's so many projects and things that we want to do that just never get off the runway, just because of time commitments or one thing or the other. You know, people are not available. I think my measure of how good of a VPO I am is how many events we can get off that runway. What is our net turnout? If we can get, honestly, I know 1 million people sign up for things, but less than half of them might show up due to one thing or another. So if we can net a turnout of 50% or more for each of our events, I call that a success. And I think a big part of that is marketing. It's about coordinating things. Like even for officer elections today, I don't think a lot of people were aware that was happening today. And the notice was sent out a little bit late. No shade to anybody, just saying. Having that express communication beforehand, I think would be beneficial. And kind of help in netting that higher turnout that we're looking for. What else?
All right, I have a question for you, Joshua. So as BPO, you will have a certain number of officers running it for you. How will you make sure that all the tasks that are delegated to you and are assigned to your officers are accomplished in a timely fashion and are completed in the best way possible that benefits you ASME?
So, building on something that Angela said in her speech, I kind of dislike the idea of committee chairs being kind of tied to one particular corps officer. I think that responsibility needs to be distributed and shared amongst all corps officers. And it should be more like an oversight thing, like I'm your boss. It should be more like how can we work together to bring better events for our members. You know, I chose to run specifically for BPO because I have experience with mentorship, but I'm also deeply involved in community service. And I think there's no reason that somebody who's in mentorship can't come out to a community service event or vice versa. I think the biggest thing is communication, for sure, because we all have insanely busy schedules. I work part-time in addition to doing school full-time, as I'm sure many of y'all do. Quite frankly, maybe just making a Google Calendar and scheduling every single hangout, every single invite, all of that in a public place where everybody could see it. I think that would be really beneficial.
Thank you.
Jimmy?
I like your speech, Joshua. And so my question is, how would you best describe your style of leadership?
I thought you would like my speech. I'd say dynamic. Just speaking from my experience as a barista, as a manager, you need to be able to pivot. I've had angry customers, angry stakeholders in the engineering world, and it's a matter of appeasing everybody. I think I'm a people pleaser at heart, and I will say to my future officer board, if I do get elected VPO, I'm going to need some people to keep me in check because I feel like I can go too far with that. You know, I tend to put other people's needs over my own, and sometimes I think that can be damaging. Yeah, quite frankly, I think it's just a matter of making sure everybody's on the same page about things, because that's the biggest thing. You know, If you have that communication discrepancy, then things are not going to run smoothly. And especially as BPO, as I'm sure you know, it's a million different moving parts, and to keep everything well oiled and greased, you have to have that communication. You have to have that open line. So I call my leadership style dynamic. I think I can adapt as needed. I've done it behind bar as a barista. I've done it as project manager for my DBT group, and yeah.